Lavilla lies to the northwest in Jacksonville's downtown. At one point in history, it was an independent city. It developed after the American Civil War and was eventually annexed to the city of Jacksonville in 1887 and is now considered part of downtown. During its height, the area was referred to as the Harlem of the South and considered the Mecca for African American culture and heritage. Our journey begins at the historic intersection of Ashley and Jefferson.
Yeah, this was the core of Lavilla nightlife back in the day. The Strand was right here. The Strand not only was a movie theater, but it also had some live performances, unlike the Ritz, which was strictly movies. So, and then right across over here is what's left of Jennifer's Hall. And this was, it originally was a grocery store in the late 1800s, 1895, I think. It was turned into the Wynn Hotel in the 1920s. And on the ground floor of the hotel was the Lenape Bar, which is where all the entertainers would hang out all night long after they performed. So this was a hot spot.
And when you say entertainers, we're talking some big A-list talent.
Louis Armstrong, Dizzy Gillespie, this is where they hung out after they performed. So, you know, this building was lit into the wee hours of the morning.
So when you talk about a very historic intersection in Jacksonville, this is one of them right here.
This is it. This was the heart of the city.
You could almost like just try to concentrate and try to picture what you would hear.
Right.
Live music, conversation, people talking, and now that's erased. And it's just the banner of kids screaming and yelling behind
us as we try to do it. Yeah, you got it. Welcome to progress.
Right, exactly.
Lavilla was a truly unique neighborhood that embraced a large variety of cultures and religions.
This was not just a black neighborhood or a black city. There were Greeks, there were Syrians, there were Jewish folks, and the structure of the city, the focus of the city was learning to live together in harmony. That's what this area was about.
Do you remember back then too, you would have the term a melting pot.
Right.
That's what the United States was.
Right. And that's what New York was/is, and that's what Lavilla was. A melting pot of different cultures, immigrants from all over the world coming to this area, and not just for the nightlife, but because of the lifestyle. It was fantastic, it was amazing.
Deb, throughout this journey, we're exploring this neighborhood,
right.
Lavilla neighborhood. A lot of history here. Some of the buildings are still standing. Some of them are a shell of what they used to be. But one that is entirely intact, at least from the outside, has a ton of history. And that is Stanton School, a high school.
Right. The Stanton Normal School was built in 1869, and it was the only high school for blacks. So all African American high schoolers had to walk from wherever they lived to this one high school in the Lavilla city.
Wow, and the first thing that comes to mind, I think everybody who lives in Jacksonville knows the fact that when it comes to size, Jacksonville's the largest by square miles.
In the country,
so
yes it is.
Think about that, not necessarily convenient for everybody out there to attend here.
Exactly, I have a good friend who said she had to walk 5 miles to and from, so 10 miles a day she was walking to and from school every day. And she said in the winters, which of course are not as cold as New York, but it still gets pretty brisk.
Yeah.
You think walking 5 miles to and from school every day, it was not a pleasant journey.
No, not at all. And not only is there a lot of history here, but there are some great works that was developed here at the school.
Right, Stanton School, the principal of Stanton School was James Weldon Johnson, who actually went to the school and then became its principal. And he is the one who penned Lift Every Voice and Sing, which is known as the Black National Anthem. He wrote it originally as a birthday song for Abraham Lincoln. I don't know if you knew that.
No.
And he had a group of his school children perform it. And it took off and became so popular that it ended up being the Black National, or the African American National Anthem, and that was since 1900, and it still is considered that today.
Wow. You know, we're learning about history, we're learning about culture. This really is a journey, and I know there's so much that we have to explore and find out. With that song, so how does it go?
It goes, lift every voice and sing, till earth and heaven. It's a very uplifting, I mean, even when I just sing just that much of it without any accompaniment, it fills my heart with hope for the future and joy and pride. I'm proud to be an African American, and I'm proud to be able to sing those words. And I love visiting this school because you can still feel the energy of all those African American children in this school learning and being prideful of who they are.
Deb, I'm excited for what's ahead of us, exploring and learning so much, and the conversations that we're having because of it. Thank you for being a part of this.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's going to be a wonderful series.